Hi, guys. What we're going to look at today is we are going to look at Federalists and Anti-Federalists. These were two groups that emerged out of the formation of the Constitution. And you can actually see the Constitution over here to the right. No, I don't expect you to be able to read that. Now, basically what happened is in 1787, the Founding Fathers get together and they decide that basically the Articles of Confederation, the original government, isn't working and we need something different. So they come up with the Constitution, and the Constitution is going to create the government we have right now. So it's got the federal system, Congress, the Supreme Court, the federal court system, the president. So basically, two groups out of the meeting to create the Constitution, two groups emerged called Federalists and Anti-Federalists. Now, it's important to note both Federalists and Anti-Federalists wanted the Constitution. They agreed that we needed a central government. But what type of government, that's going to be a little different. So Federalists, and if you've seen the play Hamilton or you've heard about it or maybe heard the music, well, Alexander Hamilton is a Federalist. And the Federalists are going to basically want a strong central government, a strong federal government, one with a president, a chief executive. We hadn't had a president until the Constitution was written. So a strong chief executive, a Congress that makes the law, a court system that judges the law. They wanted the Constitution, the federal government, to be the law of the land. And so if you're saying, what are these Federalist Papers over here? Well, these three guys, John Jay, James Madison, and Alexander Hamilton, wrote a series of essays that were published in newspapers back then. So basically that people could read, saying this is why we need a strong central government. This is why we're writing the Constitution the way it is, to try to get support. So if you've heard about the play Hamilton and that Hamilton, wanted to write, he was always writing. Well, this is one of the reasons he did that. He wanted to get the people on his side, the American people, that we need a strong central government. So that's a Federalist. So a Federalist wants a strong central government. An Anti-Federalist, well, anti, that word means you're against it. So Thomas Jefferson, another founding father, remember, these guys still want a constitution. Thomas Jefferson warned, as an anti-federalist, we have to make sure that the federal government doesn't become too strong, too powerful. So he still wanted, and the anti-federalists still wanted, states to have certain rights, that states can still govern themselves on certain things. Today's world, for instance, a state makes its own speed limits, if you didn't know that. So the federal government doesn't make speed limits. That's up to the individual state. So if you've ever traveled before on a highway, maybe you've noticed that on a major highway, when you go into a different state, maybe the speed limit changes. Well, that's limiting the power of the federal government. That's up to the states. So that's something that the anti-federalists wanted. And they even talked about the president only serving one term. That way the president can't be reelected over and over again. So this leads to political parties. And in today's world, you've got a donkey and you've got an elephant. The donkey is a Democrat. In today's world, they would be considered Federalists. They usually want more laws, more power to the government. And anti-Federalists today would be called Republicans, and that would be the elephant. And Republicans tend to want less government, less power to the federal government, control over your life. So the thing is, George Washington, the first president of the United States, warned, he saw all of this happening with Federalists and Anti-Federalists. He warned them, you better be careful because political parties can divide the country, and that's what we don't want. So maybe Washington was smarter than we give him credit for when it comes to what he saw. And so he saw Federalists and Anti-Federalists, warned, be careful, don't start worrying about your party more than you worry about the country. But basically, Federalists and Anti-Federalists come out of the Constitution. If you're a Federalist, you want the strong government. If you're an Anti-Federalist, you want to make sure the federal government isn't too powerful. That's the difference, and that's Anti-Federalists and Federalists.